All right, welcome back to Behind the Curtain, and today's special guest is David Allen Miller, music director for the Albany Symphony Orchestra. David, thank you so much for coming today.
Hi, Giuliana. I'm so happy to be with you.
All right, we have a lot of exciting things to talk about, and that starts with Water Music New York. It begins in Waterford. Where did this all start?
Well, it started a long, long time ago, actually. Perhaps before you were born, like 20-some years ago. Or, I went to the Canal Corporation of New York because I had this quixotic idea of floating the orchestra down the canal from Albany to Buffalo. Not being a New York native, I didn't realize that was about 350 miles. That's a lot of floating. But it didn't quite fly at that time. But then at the beginning of the Bicentennial in 2017 of the Erie Canal Bicentennial, we went back to Canals and had a bunch of discussions, and they were much more keen to do it, and we were to celebrate this bicentennial. So we actually essentially did that. We didn't quite float. We cheated a little bit and went on buses, but we played in the canal on barges. We played in 7 communities, and the beautiful part of it was that in each town we embedded a young composer who then spent a whole bunch of time in the community learning about it and collaborating with arts groups there. And then each time we showed up in a town night after night the week of July 4th, we would give the world premiere of this big substantial piece that the composer in that town had written about the town's connection to the canal. And we also played, pop tunes and Americana and Handel's Water Music because it was the 300th birthday of that piece. And we had a great time. And so that was 2017. So flash forward, the canal, of course, took 8 years to build, 1817 to 1825. So in 1823, we began, I'm sorry, not in 1823. In 2023, in 1823, we began talking, and it took 200 years. No, in 2023, we began talking again with our friends at the Canal Corporation and the Power Authority of New York State, and we were again all really keen to do something. So this is the completion of 3 years of programming. We started in 24 with some pop-up things that were wonderful, that were mainly on video, so people could see them online. And then last year we did 5 big town sort of festivals across the canal to celebrate the actual completion of the canal. And this year, we're doing 3 at the eastern terminus in Waterford, in Rome the next night, July 11th, Saturday, and then way out in the Tonawandas near Buffalo, the western terminus. So we're covering the 3 big points of the canal. And we're doing the same kind of thing. We've embedded composers. They've created amazing pieces about the community. We've really spent time in the communities, researched them, gotten to know them, gotten to love them. And so they're participating. We've got a whole day of activities, everything from kayaking in Waterford and nature walks on Peebles Island to try to see the eagles, to there's a trombone choir that's going to be performing before we take the stage at 8 p.m., a drone show at the end. So it's just a fabulous family day, great fun. And we take the stage at 8 o'clock, and we'll be right in the canal. Essentially, we'll be on a barge at the foot of Lock 2, and everyone will sit up the hill alongside that gigantic brick wall or cement wall at Lock 2. So a really magical place, a free concert for the whole community, and we hope everyone from the whole capital region will come out for that. That's Friday, July 10th, this Friday at 8 p.m. is the concert, but events going all day.
And what a beautiful way to combine the natural beauty of where we are with the beauty of music. Talk to me about how nature kind of informs the music that you decide to select for these performances.
Well, interestingly, nature is kind of at the epicenter of all of this. Obviously, because we're in nature, we're playing these things out on that gorgeous canal on the Mohawk River, etc. But also, the composers really gravitated to nature-related themes, especially our composer in Waterford, Selka Ojakongas. She spent a lot of time with us in Waterford, talking to all of our wonderful friends there, and it became clear that one of the great things about Waterford, because it's right at the confluence where the Mohawk meets the Hudson, and those 4 streams of the Mohawk that empty into the Hudson, and Peebles Island is right there, and Peebles Island is, of course, where they've done this amazing rejuvenation project with the eagles, because, of course, the eagle population in New York was virtually eradicated, and then they brought fledglings, eagle babies from Alaska, and have created a whole new world of eagles in New York State. And if you've been out anywhere on the Hudson River, you see them. They're everywhere, but they're particularly on Peebles Island. So she was so entranced by that story, she wrote a piece, a beautiful 20-minute narrated piece with singing. We have these 2 wonderful singers who work with us also, but also with narrations written by people in the community, poems and such about the eagles of Peebles Island. So it's called Mr. and Mrs. Peebles, which are the names of these two eagles that have made their home on this kind of little rock island in the middle of the Mohawk. So nature is everywhere, and we're really celebrating it, especially in Waterford.
And there is a really dedicated group of eagle watchers in Waterford. They have a Facebook group, Peebles Eagles.
Yes, and she was so interested in that. It was so great because we took her we took her on a walk on Peebles Island, and we were looking for the eagles because she already knew she wanted to write about that. And we ran to these people with very long photo those gigantic lenses on their cameras, and it turns out that those were the people who founded the Peebles Eagles Facebook page, and they're like the 3 greatest eagle experts in New York State. So we got to know them, and they exchanged emails, and so Selka's been in touch with them. And so she's really gone deep dive into the eagle population. What's beautiful about this piece is that it's really a history of this incredible story of the rejuvenation, the renewal of the eagle population in New York State. But in addition to that, we start with a bunch of wonderful Americana, because of course we're just 1 week out from the big 250th, which is happening, which happened, I guess.
Yep.
And then we have a bunch of wonderful pop songs arrangements that are really fun, so everybody can sing along and bop along with us. Paul Tonko is a big fan, our wonderful congressperson, and he came last year, and people were agog because he seemed to know every song to every song we played, every word to every song we played.
Yeah.
So people can be out there singing along with us. It's a really joyous concert and a joyous day of events. Lots of food, lots of different music and art acts. We're collaborating with Colorworks, the amazing visual arts group, and they're doing this. They've created this amazing installation, which will kind of be performed. It's sort of a performance art piece of sort of this procession building the stones of the canal, and so that'll be part of the performance. So there are all sorts of art aspects of it that aren't just about the orchestra. It's really, we're trying to make it so much bigger than just about us. It's really about community and about our beautiful state and about our beautiful waterways that surround us.
And it makes it so accessible to people because there might be some folks who feel that going to a venue to watch a symphony is not up their alley. You know, they don't want to get dressed up and they don't want to go on a whole night out on the town, a ticketed event. This is so freeing to just be able to show up and plop down wherever you want and enjoy.
Absolutely, and it's really welcoming to everybody. And I think everyone, every kind of person, music lover, not music lover, orchestra lover, not orchestra lover, can have a great time. We've had such a great time doing these concerts because wherever we've gone, you know, we've had these monumental crowds. I remember in Amsterdam, New York, we had like 5,000 people, and I think probably half of them had never been to an orchestra concert before, and they loved it, and it was just a great community happening. So that's really what we're about. We're about breaking down any perceived barriers and welcoming everybody in, because the art we're presenting is timeless and beautiful and thrilling and very accessible to everybody.
I'm seeing here on the schedule of events that it ends with a drone show.
Yes, there's always a drone show at the end.
Tell me more.
Well, I think it maybe partly started because when we were in Schuylerville, they didn't want to interrupt, they didn't want to alarm the animals, not just the dogs, but all the animals in that beautiful Hudson Crossing Park. So we had begun to research drone shows instead of fireworks. And, you know, the 4th of July, 10th of July time, there's still a lot of demand for fireworks.
Right.
So we found this wonderful group that does drone shows. So we did a couple last year, and they were hugely successful because they're still kind of a novelty. People haven't seen that many of them. So these drone shows, we have a drone show after each of the 3 water music concerts. They're rather artistic. I mean, they're artistic to sort of imitate or represent fireworks. So last year we did a lot of signage. It looked a little bit like those airplanes that go across the beach. This year it's a little bit more artistic because we've involved some artists in the design of it. But it's really great fun, and that's how each of the concerts will end.
I'm looking at the food vendors, you've got quite the list. Everything from hot dogs to you've got lemonade, waffle tacos. That's interesting. So people can really spend the whole day there eating and drinking and
I think our Polish friends who were with us the whole time last year are coming as well. We have these great Polish food vendors. So lots of yummy food and beverages and just a fun, like a carnival day for everybody, but really celebrating our beautiful place here in the capital region surrounded by this glorious nature. So it's a really special, really life-affirming, really nature-based, wholesome day of wonderful events.
And it says here that the Department of Environmental Conservation will be on hand to give a talk. So important to acknowledge that the work they do to keep the area beautiful so that you can have events like this, right?
Absolutely, and they've been so central to this whole wonderful repopulation of the eagles in New York State. And they've been such great partners, particularly our friends at Canal who've really co-designed this whole thing with us and really were the spark plug for it and at the Power Authority. But also, New York State Wildlife and everybody else, parks, all of those people have been so supportive of these celebrations of our region and of our state.
So if people are making their plans to attend, they don't really have to go online and look for tickets. They don't have to, it's kind of just a show up as you are type
Absolutely,
situation.
But you can totally go on the Albany Symphony website and see, I think if you click on the actual date, we give you a whole calendar of events. And so you can see all the different things, the kayak trips and such, so you can time when you want to be there. But it really, sort of starts during the day and kicks up a little bit in the afternoon. We do our rehearsal at about 3 o'clock out there at the venue. You're welcome to come sit and listen to that. And then a lot of the vendors show up and a lot of the performing activities start at like 5 o'clock and go till 9:30 and then drone show and out. So should be just a super fun time. And I must mention that Rome the next night, which is only about an hour and a half, if that, probably an hour and a quarter away from us, is going to be similarly fabulous, but entirely different, a different world premiere. Jack Freer has written a fabulous piece about community in Rome and lots of narrative from the members of Rome, the community members. And we've got all sorts of great stuff. We're going to have actually a cheese tent there that our friends at Market 32, Tops, Price Chopper have made available because that's kind of at the center of New York dairy country. So it's going to be fun there. And then in August on the 15th in the Tonawandahs, we're going to have a great time with all sorts of fabulous musical acts and such. So really fun.
I want to talk more about the featured composer for Waterford. It says here that she is Los Angeles based.
Yes, she is.
Tell me more about how you source these artists to come and work with you. I mean, the Albany Symphony Orchestra is renowned for bringing people on a national level who are known for their work here so that we can enjoy their music. How did you come into contact with her?
I love the way you say source. I've never called it sourcing. We usually just try to find them, but sourcing is way better. We just play a lot of works by new composers, and we're always commissioning young composers. So I'm in really good touch with all the best composition programs across the country. Out in Los Angeles, USC, and then Yale and Connecticut, and the Juilliard School, of course, and Michigan, the University of Michigan. And there's certain schools where they're just fabulous composition programs. And so I'm in touch with a lot of professors and a lot of educators there, and they're always saying, have you heard about so-and-so is coming up, or who wrote a really good piece, and they'll send me the piece and I'll listen. So that's usually how we find people. I think, and I have sort of a network of friends who advise me about who's up and coming. Selka Ochakongas, who has this very unusual name. She's from Missouri, I believe, from the Heartland, and she's a wonderful, interesting, multi-arts person. She's a fabulous visual arts creator as well as a composer, and she had gone to USC and gotten her doctorate there. She's still very young. I don't know if she's 30 or something like that. But I'd heard her name a lot, and I'd heard some of her pieces, and they were just very whimsical. So I commissioned her to write a piece for our new music ensemble, Dogs of Desire, 2 years ago, and it was supposed to be about the Erie Canal, and she kept thinking about west, and she went so far west that she went to Hollywood, and she wrote a piece inspired by Sergio Leone spaghetti westerns.
Okay.
And it was hysterical with the great Italian composer Morricone, who's like the greatest Western composer. And so it was this incredible send-up of of Westerns, and we just fell in love with it, and we fell in love with her. So I commissioned her to do one of these pieces, and actually she will be featured at the very opening of our next season in October. We've commissioned another big orchestral piece from her to open the new season. So she's just one of the ones, probably a handful of half a dozen I'm just particularly excited about, and I think she has a great career ahead of her. And what's wonderful, people like Selka, and there's another composer, Viet Quang, whose music we've championed a lot. I mean, these composers are, I just see their names every week. They're in more places, getting played by more orchestras and more ensembles. So it's really exciting for us to help nurture these composers and bring them before the public eye, and also give them opportunities to create. So I'm really excited. Her piece is just, as ever, whimsical and fabulous. And you hear all these incredible string effects where they go, doo, 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 all these sort of cooing bird sounds and eagle sounds. And it's really fun. It's a really fun piece.
It's fitting. So you mentioned October and the start of that season. I'm looking at the website, Rome, Romance, and Rising Stars. Is that correct?
Yes, it's Italian night mainly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Pines of Rome by Respighi, one of the great Italian masterpieces, and that's just a total barn burner. And we're starting with the William Tell Overture, another of the most famous Italian. I mean, along with Selka's piece, I think the William Tell may be first, and Selka's I may have lied. She may be at the beginning of the second half.
William Tell, and then the Eric Wolfgang.
Oh, that's great.
Korngold, and then Chelka, and then it ends with Ottorino Respighi.
Yes, Ottorino Respighi. That's
Yes.
a classic. When you hear the famous end, the Pines of the Appian Way, that's one of those Disney has used that way a lot.
Yeah.
So it appears a lot. And so it's just a totally rousing, fabulous concert. I'm so excited to do it. And we're going to do all sorts of promotions with all the Italian restaurants around town, like Cafe Capriccio, our good friend Jim Rua, and others, to sort of hype that. So it'll be fun, and I'm delighted that Selka's on that concert.
Yeah, what a fun date night. Italian food and then a concert. And you also always have
Molto romantico. It'll be very romantic, I promise.
You always have a great opening night experience, too, for people. They can make a really, really beautiful night out of it. We could go on and on talking about that season, but we have a little bit more time. I wanted you to just round out the details one more time for the Waterford concert for people who are looking to attend. What time should they get there?
Well, they should get there anytime they want to, because there are events all day. But I think kayak trips start in the morning, but usually things ramp up, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they ramp up a little more at 5 o'clock, because that's when you can start getting food, I think. And then about 6 o'clock, different acts take the stage. This incredible trombone choir that's coming to play with us, and another group. And then at 8 o'clock, the Albany Symphony takes the stage. We play our concert, and then at about 9:30, we have the drone show, and then so it probably ends around a little before 10 o'clock. So I would say 2 to 10, any time in there. But as the day goes, the events get a little more cumulative. There are these, as I said, there are these nature walks on People's Island earlier in the day. So you can make a whole day of it, or make an afternoon of it, or just make an evening of it. But it's going to be great fun. Lots of food, beverages, beautiful visual arts on hand as well. This amazing project with Collarworks, and lots of fun. Lots of Americana on the program, Sousa, John Williams, Leonard Bernstein, and then lots of actual pop songs, Lady Gaga, and the whole gambit is on.
Something for everyone.
Should be fun, really fun. Oh, and Demon Hunters. The Demon Hunters will be
K-pop
featured.
Demon Hunters.
K-pop will be a little feature there for the K-pop Demon Hunter fans.
They're everywhere.
I know. That's why we stuck it on.
Yeah, it's taking the world by storm.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, David Allen Miller, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. Anything else you wanted to mention before we sign off?
Nope, just hope we'll see you out there. And then if you're really feeling game, just come on out and join us in Rome the next night for a whole different experience. It's going to be super fun, both nights.
Little road trip. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And that's it for today's episode of Behind the Curtain. Remember, if you have an idea that highlights the art scene in the Capital Region, email me, gbruno@news10.com, and we will see you next time.